and welcome to healthyhouseplants.com, where we teach you all about gardening in the great indoors. Today's video is sponsored by our Amazon affiliate link, which you'll see in the description below. Also in the description below are links to any videos I mention in this video. So today I'm going to show you how to prune African violets. And they are very simple to prune. Actually, they're probably one of the simplest houseplants to prune, which is very cool. So in terms of getting the leaves off and you pinch them, you do need to use a little discretion. First of all, when you prune any houseplant, you don't want to prune off more than 1/3 of the growth at a time. If you do that, you will stress the plant. You can put it into shock. What happens is you then have a disproportionate amount of roots for the foliage. So that's something you don't want to do. And with an African violet, you can also disrupt its production of flowers, which obviously is a big problem since one of the main reasons to grow African violets is to have those beautiful flowers. The other thing to keep in mind is you want to make it uniform all the way around when you do prune the African violet. The pruning, as I mentioned itself, is a very simple thing. So what you want to start with first, I'm going to start with this guy here, and you take out the label here for now. So the first thing you want to look for, and you can see here, is any foliage that looks like it's finishing up, it's a little droopy, it's a little done, it's kind of spent. And what you do is you use your thumb and your forefinger, you go to the base of the plant and you simply pinch. You can use pruners if you want to, but the African violet stems are so easy to pinch, I don't bother. So there's that. Now I'm looking for any other ones. There's one here that has a little bit of a tear in it, as you can see that right here, the tear, but I'm going to leave that on for now because I want to look at it. So what you want to do is you want to look at the plant and you want to get a nice circular look when you're done. So you need to be careful as to what leaves you take out. Now if you can see this plant, it's a little off kilter. There's more leaves sticking out here than there are over here. So I'm going to take out some of these long ones over here. Go slowly when you do this. Take a look in between each time you do it because you don't want to overdo it and you don't want it to look weird. So I took that one out. This one's a little bit of a challenge. Sometimes you may have to do a little bit and then wait a few weeks for some more growth and do some more. I'm going to take out that one leaf that's split because it doesn't look all that great. So you can see it's getting better looking. So I could take out this one underneath here, and I am going to, I could essentially take out a lot more of these. However, it may be a little too much for this plant right now. I don't want the top of the plant to be too small for the pot. So what I'm going to stop for now on this one to show you, not to overdo it. Well, I'm going to let it grow. Some of these interior leaves grow a little bit more, and in another couple weeks I'm going to take off a little bit more around the outside of the older leaves. This one, another really nice example so you can see. So this one I feel like I would like to take that off, but if I do, then I'm going to have a big gap there. However, there's extra here, so I'm going to take this one off. And I'm going to leave that because, as you can see, if I start to take more, then the problem, what happens is you start taking more and then you're trying to get it to be even and then you end up taking off too much. So for now I'm going to leave that. This guy's got a bunch of little leaves right there. Once these little leaves get bigger, I'm going to take off some of the outer ones. And these are all still very healthy leaves too. Now this plant here has some yellowing going on with the leaves. It does need a repotting as well. Doing the pruning, pinching off of the African violet leaves is really good to do before you're repotting as well, and that way you can make sure to put the plant in the right size pot for the top of the foliage. This one has, but there's a little bit of yellowy going on. I'm going to take this one out. I'm going to take this one out, and I'm going to take this one underneath here out. So I've taken some out. I could theoretically repot and just leave these green here and take all these out. I'm not going to do that until I'm ready to repot though, but that's another thing to keep in mind when you're pruning for repotting. So that gives you an idea. And you can see if I take out all of these, then it will be more uniform. However, I also at the same time need to make sure that there aren't too many roots in the pot, because if there are, the plant needs to go in the same size pot. In that case, I would want to let more foliage grow in and then take out the outer ones after that. And I am not seeing roots coming out of the bottom, so this plant may need to even go into a smaller size pot when I repot. This one looks fairly uniform, which is nice. Another thing to keep in mind when you're done, when you're doing this with the African violet pruning, is you can then root the leaves, not the ones that didn't look so healthy, but the healthier leaves that you took off just to balance the plant. You can then root them in water, and I have another video, a video series on that, and create new African violets from the ones that you pruned. So that is another thing to keep in mind. So I have a few here. This one is a little yellowy, so probably wouldn't use that, but these three would be nice and healthy. I'm going to go ahead and root all three of these after the pruning here today. So that is that on pruning African violets. Give you a good idea of what to do and what not to do. And like I said, don't overdo it, because you just went up with a little puny plant, and then that plant will definitely need to be repotted once you've done that. So better to err on the side of caution with pruning any houseplants than overdoing it. But you can see how it works now too. Okay, so thank you for stopping by today. Please leave any comments about any indoor gardening tutorials you'd like to see. And remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video.